scoliosis is really a distortion in where we're breathing. Now, if the body's closed on one side, well, the brain says, I'm going to breathe in right here. I know that's breathing in, and I know this is good at not breathing in because that's closed right there. And as that gets reinforced and the brain's always opening one side and it says, oh, one side is too hard to breathe into that closed side, well, that's when we are a little bit stuck in the bend. But the system's more creative than that. If this closes here and this closes here, it's like your brain is pulling the line through the body. Now, classic somatics looks at the body in a very surface-focused way, that it's just contraction of the side makes a bend. There's contraction of the front or contraction of the back. Those surfaces, I propose your brain is much more creative than that you can have a line through the body. So here, if the upper ribs pull toward lower hip, well, someone's stuck in this. Now, they might be complaining that right there is really tight, and that might be the problem. It might seem like that diagonal is the problem, but it won't release because the cascade of the whole pattern, if you just release that, and this is stuck over here, well, it's going to want to go back because the brain's intent is a line through the body. Okay, so there's more patterns than just Hanna's 3 lines through the body. And as you maybe try that, upper ribs toward opposite hip, can you breathe in? Can you breathe that space open? Is that stiff? Is it constricted? You squeeze the air out, shoulder to opposite hip, breathing in. Is that open? Okay. The system is not just a line like this. Well, what if it's a line upper front ribs toward back hip? So I pull this in and down, back hip pulls up, and soon someone's just stuck in that. Now, that sort of feels familiar to me. I've had patterns like this in my body. So is that breathing space? Can I breathe back of hip away from upper front ribs, and upper front ribs breathe toward back of hip? Is that easy? Okay, let's try back of shoulder toward opposite front of hip, opposite side front of hip. Shoulder pulls down and hip pulls up, and oh, well, I could be stuck in this one too. You might be stuck in this. So here we have that. Is that breathing space? Can I squeeze the air out? Back of shoulder toward opposite front of hip. Does that open? To me, in sort of this shift, most powerfully, it was my least able to breathe. And I invite you to do this as your assessment. Ribs pull down, hip pulls up, this sort of lateralized line right through the body. Okay, breathing that open. Okay, is that breathing space? Okay. Let's look at the other side. So these upper ribs, let's call it shoulder, but the shoulder's really resting on the ribs. We're interested in breathing space. Ribs pull down, and oh, my body just loves this one. Okay, this is the one that brought me to somatics. The pain, I was searching for the answer. How am I going to solve this hip pain right here that was ruining my life? Well, I didn't realize it, but I was stuck in this pattern. Ribs and this line through the body. My system just loves that. Can I breathe it open? Where is it stiff? Well, for me, a little bit. These ribs don't know how to close. Now I've practiced a lot. These know how to open, but these don't know how to close. Well, we have this. Can the brain see that as breathing space? If you're out for a walk, can you squeeze the air out? Can you breathe the air in? Okay, let's look a little more specifically. Front upper ribs to back of opposite hip. Squeezing that in, breathing that open. Where is it? Where is it constricted? I can feel, I can see. How do the ribs lock you in? How does your breathing pattern lock you into those postures? Breathing it open. Once you see where you're stuck with your breathing, that I'm pulling this to this right through the body. Once you see where you're stuck, well, we just need some movements on the floor that help you focus on that so you can give your brain a really good lesson. So let's think about back of shoulder to front of hip. I'm pulling through like that. Well, my brain, again, I feel like the stiffness is sort of in this middle band, like somewhere. Where is that? Breathing it in and closing it up. And I'd like you to really look, go slowly. Don't force it, don't stretch it. Is it breathing space? Where does it not move? Where are you stiff, pulling right through directly this line, right from one side to the other? Does that breathing space, where does it not know how? Where does it not know how to breathe in? And where does it not know how to squeeze the air out to come into that? Okay. That's like a really good breathing, scoliosis, side bending, creative adaptation breathing assessment. It's not just front, back, and sides. The system can create even low ribs on one side right here toward back of to crest of pelvis. It might pull someone in like that. Okay. Very specific lines through the body. It could be here, anywhere. Lines through the body. Got to look deeper than the regular somatics. Thank you very much for practicing with me today and looking at yourself this deeply. Don't be discouraged when you discover that you're a little bit stuck. It takes just practicing to free yourself. I believe that you have the power to free yourself. I'm Eric Cooper. Thank you very much for watching today. Blessings on your journey.